Inside this video topic, we'll discuss a very amazing and interesting concept of WordPress, and that is how to use Faker library to generate Faker data inside our WordPress plugins. Yes, friends, I'm talking about at some stage if we want some fake data to test our plugin, how to get that. So to get fake data in a very easier way, we'll use a concept of Faker library inside our WordPress plugin. So inside this video topic, we'll discuss that what is the process that is step-by-step process to get installed our Figure library inside our WordPress plugins so that we're able to generate fake data to test our plugin. So now to discuss about the concept of Faker library inside plugin development, I will go from ground level that is from scratch. First we create a plugin, then we'll install Faker library and then we'll see that how to use to generate fake data. Now to understand the concept of Faker library, this is my setup. So inside this setup, we'll create our plugin, something called Faker data, and inside that plugin, I will use the concept of Faker library. So right now, if I go to plugins, click on install plugins. So as we can see, these are the default available plugins inside this setup. So I will open this project setup or let's say WordPress setup into my VS Code. So I'm inside my VS Code with that project. So what is the process? How to proceed with Faker library? I'll discuss step by step concept of that. So first thing first, I'll go to this WP content folder and inside this, here we have a plugins folder. And inside this plugins folder, let's create our plugin first. So inside this plugins folder, let's create one more folder. And I will say, let's say test users. And inside this plugins folder, let's create our main plugin file. So I will say wp test users.php. So now if you are wondering that what type of plugin will create inside this video topic, so let me tell you that by the help of this test users, will generate some test data for our WP users table. So if I go to our users, click on all users. So right now, as we can see that only we have admin user for this WordPress website. And also, if I go back to database, click on developer users. So right now, we have only a single entry of user inside this developer users table. So what I will do, by the help of this plugin, what we are creating, we'll install first a Faker library and then after, by using the concept of Faker library, we'll generate 50 test users. Now after this is our main plugin file of this test users plugin. So what I will do, I will add some PHP comment lines so that this plugin will be introduced first to our WordPress setup. So here, let's add PHP opening tag and then after I will add multi-line comments. So let's say plugin name, let's say generate test users, author, then author URI. So I will put for the time being only a dummy URL, let's say authoruri.com. Then after plugin description, by the help of this plugin, you can generate 50 or let's say 100 test users. Now for the time being, everything is okay and let's add a one more P means key, sorry, it's version number 1.0. So successfully now some comment lines we have added into this main plugin file. So if I go back to WordPress setup, let's go and reload. And now we can see that here generate test users. So this is plugin name, this is plugin description, author, and behind this thing, this is hyperlink, so author URI, and this is version number. Now what next? So as we have now plugin introduced for this WordPress setup, and as we also know that we have to use the concept of Faker library. So without wasting time, let's go and install our Faker library inside this WordPress plugin. So before installation, what is the process, how to use, everything will be documented inside its official website called fakerphp.org. So it's a composer, like it's a PHP dependency, it's a PHP package. So by the help of composer, we can easily install this Faker PHP library into our plugin folder. So before installation of this Baker library, I want that inside your system, Composer must be installed. So how to verify Composer is available? So it's very simple. Just go back to your project terminal or terminal, and here, if you type simply Composer, means after installation, this is the process to verify. So if suppose in your system Composer is available or not, so it's just go to terminal, type Composer keyword, hit enter, and in a moment it will display the complete list of composer commands. And now as we can see, so if you are able to see the composer commands, it means that composer is available to your system. Otherwise you have to install. So let's say that I will assume that inside your system, Composer is available. So after that, you have to go and install this library by using this command called composer require faker php /faker. So what I will do, let's copy. Now after copy, what I will do, just go back to project terminal. So I'm inside this plugins folder. So inside this terminal, I'm inside this plugins folder. And remember, inside plugins folder, we have created called test-users. This is our plugin folder. So if I go to terminal and if I type cd, let's say test-users, and now as we can see inside this plugins folder, now we are inside our custom plugin. And one more thing, if you're not able to go with this terminal to this plugins folder, the second option is, let's go back to VS Code. So inside this VS Code also we have the option of terminal. So if we press Ctrl J, and now as we can see, after pressing Ctrl J successfully, we have opened terminal of this project folder. This is our VS Code. Let's close here. I'm not able to open, for example, by pressing command Ctrl J. So in that case, just go to view, click on terminal. So successfully, now I am inside this project one. So what next? So simply what the command we have copied, we have to go and run into our plugin folder. So just go here, cd, let's say test-user, not from here, this is of project one. So after project one, we have to go inside this WP content then. So cd, let's say WP content, and inside cd, then we have to go inside plugins folder. Like after WP content, here we have plugins, and then after we have to go into test user. So cd test users. So after going into plugins folder, now the same path here we have inside this terminal, let's paste our command. And now here composer require faker php /faker. So this is a PHP package. So that's why we are installing using composer. So composer must be required. So after pasting that, hit enter. Now it will take some time, and into that time it will install this package into our test users plugin. So successfully, now as we can see, installation completed. So to verify, if I go to project folder, test users, and now inside test users, we can see composer.json, which contains that what package we have installed to this folder. And then here we have vendor folder. Vendor folder is the most important folder because it contains overall the complete setup of Faker library package to this vendor. If I go to this vendor folder, composer, faker PHP, and this is the overall setup, or we may say complete setup of that library to use. And inside this faker PHP. Now, after installation, what I will do, let's close this terminal, close this composer.json, just go to this main plugin file called wp-test-users.php. So if I go here, so the first step successfully we have completed. Now inside this second step, that we want to use this faker PHP into a plugin, so we have to load that. So how to load? So let's say that in your application, not only a single package you're using multiple packages. So here This is the process to load autoload.php from this vendor folder. If you install any composer package, you will get a vendor folder, and inside vendor folder, here we have autoload.php. So once you write this line of code into a main plugin file successfully, you are able to load all composer packages to your plugin. So what I am doing, I am just copying here, go to main plugin file and just paste here. So what is the meaning of lines? So we are checking that this vendor autoload.php is file is available to this like file path like inside vendor autoload.php. So if file exists successfully, we are including to this main plugin file. So once this file will be included, it means that now we are able to use Faker library to our plugin. So how to use that? So let's say that I want to generate 50 test users. So here I will simply go, let's say add action, and inside here, let's say admin init, and I will attach a callback function, and inside this callback function, we have to write some lines of code, and by the help of those lines, we can generate our test users. So here, first we have to create the Faker instance. It means Faker object so that we can call all of its method. And one more thing, if you're wondering that what is the meaning of Faker methods, so let's go back to documentation. So after installation, after inclusion of autoload.php, and now you can see here we have the name method, then after the email method, text method. So there are much more methods to generate each and everything of a dummy content. So here we want to generate the dummy content for this user login, user password, user nickname, user email, to how to generate that. And also we want to take care of this display name. And also, if I go and see, so everything is okay. Let's go back to VS Code. So first, I'll create Faker object. So here, Faker, and now we can see once we write this line of code, it means that we have included. So after inclusion, now automatically we are seeing that it is giving options of Faker. This is VS Code IntelliSense. Once you include any class, automatically it will read its all properties, which is publicly available, and all of its method. So Faker, and then after here factory, scope resolution operator, and create method. So successfully, by the help of this line, now you have created Faker object. So if I go and for example, if I call the name method, so Faker object, and now as we can see, name as a method and name also as a property. So if I want to generate a Faker name, so this is name method. So for the time being, let's echo. If I save these changes and here, let's add WP type. Now, if I save these changes, so what will happen if I reload our WordPress setup? It will print a dummy name value and it will simply die here. Let's go, and if I reload, let's click on activate first. So after plugin activation, now as we can see here we have a dummy name value and plugin die here. Again, if I reload, it will generate again a fake name value and it will give us, let's reload. So every time it will give a random, dynamic, unique value. So this is only for the name. If I want to generate email, so it's super simple. Let's add email method. Save these changes. Let's go and reload. And now as you can see, the email value, if I want to get the phone number, so it's super simple now. Now as we can see, once we use this Faker object, it is giving one more method called phone number. If I save these changes, let's go and reload. And now as we can see, it is giving phone number. So this is the concept of what basically we have to use to generate our test users. So instead of die, what I will do once we reload our WordPress setup, this URL. So after reload, we will read the reload request and then we have to create our test users. Let's go here, just remove. I'll use the concept of for function, and here this loop will go from 0 index up to, let's say, 49, means up to 50 users, and I plus plus. And then after into this for loop, what I will do, so here also we have a function of WordPress. By the help of that function, we can create our test user. So that is called WP insert user. And inside this function, we have to pass our data. What data basically I want to go and insert to create our test user. So as I told that to create our test users, we want user login, user pass, let's say user email, display name, and additionally I want a user role. Let's go back to VS Code. Now inside this WP insert user, let's add our keys. So we want first, let's say user login, so here, user underscore login, it is something the username. So here, let's say Faker object, and here we have username. It's a method or property. So let's use method of that. So what it will do, it will generate a unique username. Then after, I want to generate, let's say user pass. So user pass, and for the time being, let's encrypt using MD5, and I will put a password from 1 to 6. Then after we have, let's say user email. So user underscore email to generate fake email value, let's say faker object, and then email method. Then after I want, let's say display name, and here let's say faker object, and I will call name method. And I want also a role should be inserted, so let's say role will be the key, and here I will put, let's say, subscriber as WordPress default user role. So if I save these changes, so what it will do, let's say 50 test users generated. So what will happen if we go and run our project URL automatically on admin initialization? First, it will create a figure object, then loop will start, and this loop, like this for loop, will insert 50 test users into our WP users table. If I save these changes, and if I go right now inside our table, we have only a single user. Let's go and reload. It is inserting. So as we can see, 50 test users generated. So if I go and reload, and now as we can see that successfully into our database table called WP users, right now we have like lots of users. So let's go and descending order, and as we can see, 50 number of users now generated to this database table. So this is overall that how to use Faker library to generate fake data inside WordPress plugin. So successfully now overall this concept now completed. So if you think this video is really very helpful to understand about Faker library to generate fake data into WordPress plugins, just hit the like button to like this very interesting video, subscribe to this channel, and now let's meet to our next amazing video. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching and have a great day.